Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird, wonderful world. And one of my wonderful subscribers had given me a bit of an awesome idea for a video. I want to talk about bands that switch genres. That when they started their career in one way and then they switched genres and they became more successful or not. It's not about that really. It's about this changing of genres. And what got me thinking about it mostly was also from my video I did yesterday, the day before yesterday, when I was talking about when I got the Rat, when I got the which I'm in the process of playing. I got I just put that in there. I played the first three already, and I love them. So that is next on the chopping block for me to listen to. And yeah, I'll be giving my review at that when I get to it, but not right yet. Now, what I did not put on my list of artists who switched genres are those that changed basically their sound. There's not necessarily that they changed genres, and a couple of examples would be AC/DC. AC/DC is not on the list because they changed their sound because of a band member passing away. So the difference between Bon Scott and Brian Johnson, they did not change their genre of music whatsoever, but their sound had to change a bit to accommodate the different singers. There's you know, pre Bon Scott and then post Bon Scott, and yeah, there's different, but that doesn't count. Metallica, after they lost a valued member of their team, had never sounded the same after those three first albums. Those three first albums, Cliff Burton was the heart of the band, but they didn't really change genres. They did a tiny bit, but not enough to count on my list. It's mostly because of changing the band members that made them change. They changed their sound. They didn't change their genre. But these bands here, in many ways, that I'm going to present now, ones that I don't have, okay, but I need to give an honorable mention. I wrote them down here would be a Fleetwood Mac. They changed genres in their career. Taylor Swift, from what I've been told. Pantera, because Pantera used to be a glam rock kind of band. Yeah, I know I'm saying glam rock, but they were more like hair metal. But then they turned more heavy metal. When they released Cowboys from Hell, and yeah, I love Pantera. I need to get some Pantera. Genesis, they've changed genres of here and there, so they count. Radiohead, they went and changed genres. Bring Me the Horizon, Fall Out Boy, Falling in Reverse, they've all changed genres in respects. But I'm going to show examples from my collection now of bands that, and I can give some examples here and there, but then there's others I can't really show examples. Like this first one here. So going right back from the beginning, one of the first okay, here's the Beatles, right? Now between Please Please Me to to the moment you get to the Magical Mystery Tour and everything they were doing on Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Club Heart Band, Club Heart, you know what I'm talking about. Their genres have switched, have changed, and but it's not due to a band member change. No, it is due of them being innovative and changing to suit the time. They they have changed genres, going from pop rock to a bit psychedelic, and then experimental. So I think they provide a good basis of an example of bands that successfully succeeds in different genres. Well, I didn't. Oh, right. I got okay. I gotta get one out for that. Another band, okay, that totally counts, and I didn't get that prepared, but I have it right next to me here. I'll show you some examples. Let's go. Yeah, that would be the heavy one here. Okay, here's great contrast. Doing a story like a kind of a storybook, like spoken narrative, country-ish, like awesome, like Western style music, and in the best possible way. Okay, to doing a like a kind of a stick like a nice '70s type of pop rock kind of band, easy listening, all acoustic and fun. And then they go and do some thrash metal, thrash metal album. Okay, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard have changed genre so often and seamlessly, and not because they changed band members and changed their style. No, no, no. They purposely tackled different genres. Probably the most successful genre skipping band I ever encountered. So yeah, they definitely go onto the list for sure. Um, I don't have the most diverse example of this, okay? But for example, the difference between this album, the first debut album of Black Sabbath, and Technical Ecstasy, they're different genres. I mean, they changed their sound. I mean, it's still Ozzy in both, right? But how different are these two albums? I'm not sure exactly what genres you would define them as exactly. I mean, this is just heavy rock. You could probably say heavy rock or or hard rock. I don't know, but yeah, this has some synthesizers, some keyboards. Is quite a bit more commercial than that would be. This is dark and broody and awesome. They're different, and so it totally counts. Um, okay, get this one out of the way. How about Childish Gambino? Childish Gambino, the difference between Awaken My Love and Camp, for example, going from this kind of mellow R&B soul, you know, type of thing to really good hip hop kind of rapping, and between Bonfire and Heartbeat and Sunrise. It's a good album. I need to listen to this again soon. I gotta go through my box first, but yeah, but definitely a genre switching band. Um, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd. To go from something like this, okay, which is very awesome, psychedelic. It's like, yeah, it's so super awesome, experimental, psychedelic, being the debut album, to going to an album like this. They're completely different genres. I could throw in The Wall, for example, in that mix. Or you go and look at Animals, or Wish You Were Here, or any of those kind of the Dark Side of the Moon. They're such a different, it changes genres, but still always good. Another band that really successfully changes, and I consider just the two main members, like the two guys, as the main members of the group. The rest of the band is inconsequential because they come and go. But two artists, who are pretty much inseparable, is these two brothers of Ron and Russell Mael of Sparks. And the difference between like these two albums, for example, the contrast of going so disco-ish and and synth pop, spectacular, to having a kind of a hard rockin' masterpiece of a. I love this album. I'm loving it more and more. These two albums are really up there on the list of albums that I love of Sparks. But again, such different contrast in the different genres that they tackle, like all throughout their career. They may stay in the genre for maybe two or three albums, but they do switch it up. They do switch it up, and successfully so. I don't have the rest of these. I don't have a lot of examples of them changing genres, but you know what I'm talking about. Like for example, David Bowie and David Bowie has changed genres, and going from stuff like this to like how different is this to Black Star, for example, or and such, and all through his career, he's changed genres. Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan changed genres, and when he did a big change in genres, and some people were like, "Oh no, you're spoiling the." They were thinking he was spoiling the essence of what his roots of where he came from by going electric and then and but then he gained a whole bunch of new fans, who loved the when he went a little bit more electric. But yeah, Bob Dylan changed genres for sure. Michael Jackson changed genres to go like with his Off the Wall being a disco masterpiece in its own right. They're doing like pop rock at its finest for '83. You know, so like he changed genres, and even if you talk about what he did with the Jackson Five, doing Motown. I mean, he went from doing Motown to funky disco, and to doing a pop rock album like this. And he's changed genres. He's changed genres a few times, definitely. Bee Gees, Bee Gees have changed genres because they started off like especially with this stuff here. If I would, so this is volume one. If I were to get volume two, I'm sure, I'm sure that would be more of the disco stuff. But this here is all like pop rock and easy listening, and I love this. I need to listen to this. This is something else I need to listen to again. Now I don't have much of examples for this band, but I only have this album of Daft Punk, which is Homework. But within their discography, they've changed genres several times. And my final example, and this is all I have for that, is the Beastie Boys. Root Down. They've changed. They've changed genres of sound within their thing. Now, okay, one last thing I can bring up as an example. Okay, if I can get it out there, it's a little pinned in there. Oh, come on. Ah, that's hard to get out. All right, there we go. I'm on my way back. Okay. For example, Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot, okay? Now I had them in listed because they are listed as a glam band, but I do consider them hair metal. Except for that first album. That first album, I can honestly say is more glam rock or glam rock than it is and then the rest of the albums after that, that is more hair metal or hair rock or but yeah, that first album, I do have to agree, much more glam. So I can consider, if you count that album, because it's a different singer. That's the first thing. They changed the band member, so I shouldn't count it. And yeah, it's not necessarily on the list, but it is an example of a band that changed genres. But yeah, that's due to the singer changing, so it doesn't really count. All right, I'm going to let you go. I don't want to make this too much of a longer video. And if you're watching this for the first time and haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because I do greatly appreciate it and will love you forever. Don't be afraid to hit that like button. Absolutely leave a comment, because I try to get back to everybody's comments as much as I can. And that's it. Yeah. So everybody, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, or afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.